Hi, this is Lexus Bill, host of Drive Time on Joy 99.7 FM. Listen, you don't have to worry if you miss Drive Time or Personality Profile. It's going to be live on our podcast page. Just log on to www.myjoyonline.com/podcast. You can listen to Drive Time, Personality Profile, and any other of your favorite shows on Joy FM on that page. You don't have to miss a show at all. Joy 99.7 FM, radio for discerning listeners.
Let's start from Guinea, where deposed President Alpha Condé is still shocked and coming to terms with the coup that toppled his government. Ghana's Foreign Affairs Minister Shirley Ayoko-Botchwey has revealed after she led an ECOWAS delegation to Guinea to assess the situation. During the trip, Foreign Affairs Minister Shirley Ayoko-Botchwey disclosed that the coup leaders outlined a number of conditions under which they would relinquish power for a civilian-led transition, although she did not reveal these conditions. Shirley Ayoko-Botchwey has been speaking at a news conference right here in Accra.
Condition of former President Alpha Condé. Physically, he looked very well. We even went as far as to talk to his doctor, who ascertained that indeed physically he's very well. But for anybody who has gone through a traumatic experience like he did, mentally it's not the best. So not to say that mentally we found anything wrong, but yes, he was quite shocked. He was still in a state of shock. Condition under which he will be released, that at the moment I cannot talk about. The heads of state have sent us on a mission. We will present the report to them tomorrow. Indeed, they did put across to us some conditions under which he will be released. But at this moment, I think it would not be proper to report on that. Duration. If you recall, with regards to Mali, it was the heads of state that insisted on the duration of the transition. With Guinea, this is fresh. We went on a fact-finding mission. We've had a chat with them. At the moment, I don't think that they are in a position to even propose how long it would take them to return the country back to constitutional rule. So it is now up to the heads of state to now take some serious decisions on Guinea, what they want to see in the next, whether it's 1 month, 6 months.
Meanwhile, 7 ECOWAS heads of state will be arriving in Ghana on Thursday morning for an extraordinary ECOWAS summit to consider the report of the delegation dispatched to Guinea.
Pursuant to the authorities' decision, I, in my capacity of chair of the ECOWAS Council of Ministers, led a high-level mission to Conakry on Friday, 10th September. During the visit, the delegation met with Lieutenant Colonel Mamadi Doumbouya, chairman of the National Committee for Reconciliation and Development, CNRD, and at our request, spent some time with the ousted President of Guinea, His Excellency Alpha Condé. The delegation informed Colonel Doumbouya of the decision of the summit to immediately dispatch a high-level ECOWAS mission to Conakry, Guinea, to ascertain, among others, the issues that led to the events of 5th September 2021, inquire about the plan of the CNRD for the restoration of constitutional order in the country. It also conveyed the condemnation and grave concern of the ECOWAS Authority of Heads of State and Government about the coup and its expectation of a civilian-led transition within the shortest possible time. The forthcoming extraordinary session of the ECOWAS Authority is therefore being held to enable the high-level mission report to the authority after which the latter will deliberate and consider the next steps to be taken towards the restoration of the country to the path of democratic governance and constitutional rule. The summit will therefore have a single agenda, where I will lay before the authority the report of the ECOWAS high-level mission to Guinea, which was undertaken on Friday, the 10th of September. May I now take the opportunity to provide some information on the expected participation in the summit. Currently, 7 heads of state and government have confirmed their participation. While Nigeria will be represented at the level of the Vice President, Sierra Leone and the Gambia will be represented by their foreign ministers. The ministry has not received any indication of participation by Cape Verde and Benin at the moment.
But with some criticizing ECOWAS for not adopting proactive measures, Shirley Ayoko-Botwe says the heads of state have been engaging behind the scenes.
State here that ECOWAS, all ECOWAS countries, 15 of us, have signed on to the protocol on democracy and good governance. That in itself is a commitment to ensure that we all stick to democracy, constitutional rule, and good governance. However, as we all know, some heads of state have veered from the charter, and have gone for third-term bids, and President Alpha Conde is one such. Let me state that when something like this happens, let us not assume that behind the scenes there is nothing happening. I can assure you that when anything of the sort happens, behind the scenes, the heads of state, knowing full well that, yes, the country has signed on to the protocol, the charter, but at the same time, it is a sovereign country, have done everything behind the scenes to engage with that colleague to step down on such occurrences and to stick to the term limits. So what you see from the outside is that everybody is relaxed, but that is not the case. There's a lot of engagement that goes on. And if we take the example of Guinea, if you recall, there was a referendum after the change of the constitution, part of it, there was a referendum where people lost their lives, citizens lost their lives in protest, and so on and so forth. No, ECOWAS could not have and did not sit aloof or stand aloof and watch this happen. We engaged, and I was even part of delegations that went there, sent by the heads of state, went there on about 2 occasions to engage with all stakeholders.
In light of these latest developments, we confer with Dr. Mohammed Dan Suleiman, a political science lecturer at the School of Social Sciences at the University of Western Australia. He is an international relations analyst, joining us with more on this. Doc, now, great to have you here, Dr. Suleiman. First off, what's your reaction to the current condition of the deposed Guinean president? Did you expect this?
Thank you very much. To say I expected it is to say that I knew that a coup was going to happen. So in that regard, I would say no. But to say I expected it because the conditions that create coups were present in Guinea, then I would say yes. And recently you've realized that there have been a lot of democracies in reverse gear across the continent, and Guinea is not an exception. So to some extent, given the conditions in a lot of African countries, including in Guinea, and looking at the way that democracy seems to be making a return, is beginning to make a a U-turn. I can say that I expected something like this in Guinea, and I still continue to expect things like this happening in other African countries, unless the powers that be, in this instance, ECOWAS in the West African sub-region, and other regional economic groups around the continent, do the needful to ensure that the conditions that warrant coups to happen are removed to prevent such escalations as happened in Guinea last week.
Now, our Foreign Affairs Minister, Shirley Ayoko-Botwe, says ECOWAS has been engaging behind the scenes in the face of the barrage of criticism in the manner in which it is managing the crisis. What do you think of that?
Well, if all economic communities, regional economic communities across the continent will tell you the same thing if something happens in the countries that are under their jurisdiction. It is not a question of whether ECOWAS engaged or not. It's a question of the results of that engagement. If you are engaging and you are not getting the actors involved to act in the right manner, then I dare say that there is no need, there isn't much substance to your engagement. Yeah, no one has said that the ECOWAS did not engage. I would expect that the ECOWAS would engage. But what has been the outcome of that engagement? That should be the question that we should be asking ourselves.
Now, moving forward, even on the stance of engagement, we know tomorrow 7 heads of state will be, converging right here in Accra. Does this suffice so far in terms of measures adopted? And should we be excited? If so, why?
First of all, we would wait for what that summit would throw at us. If you consider the previous summit that came immediately following the coup, we had 2 main developments. First was sanctioning Guinea, and second was sending a delegation to talk to the coup leaders. Now, if we are to expect similar results from the upcoming summit, then I would say that we shouldn't be too happy. We shouldn't be too excited to think that something very, very meaningful will come from such summits, because this is not the first time a coup has happened in the West African sub-region. We had a coup we've had so far in the last nine months, we've had 2 coups in Mali and an attempted coup in Niger. So we should ask ourselves, what was the reaction of ECOWAS in terms of the coup that happened in Mali? Recently, there are concerns that the plan to return Mali to civilian rule, to return Mali to rule of law, is hitting a lot of roadblocks. So if this is the history we have, then I, for one, wouldn't be too excited about the outcome of the summit that is to come. That said, ECOWAS is all we have to some extent in the region, so we cannot discredit what it can do. But we have to live. We have to wait and see exactly what the summit will come forth with.
Doc, thank you so much for your time, for engaging us. Dr. Mohammed Dan Suleiman is a political science lecturer at the University of Western Australia. Do you have a good day? Now, Professor Vladimir Mchidanso is cautioning Europeans against imposing the rights of homosexuals on Ghanaians. He cited an instance where he wanted to physically assault former UN Secretary General Ban Ki-moon for advocating the rights of homosexuals at a forum designed to address food insecurity in Africa. He also observed that he was incensed over the decision of the American embassy to hoist the flag of homosexuals in the midst of massive campaigns against the rights of LGBT+ persons. Dr. Mchidanso challenged the Europeans to champion the rights of homosexuals in the Arabian countries if they believe in rights. He was speaking at an event to mark UN International Day of Democracy on the theme, the role of state actors and civil societies in consolidating democracy, human rights, and peace.
My take on those latter human rights, which I think feelings cannot be made human rights. You feel like that, keep your feelings. For me, it is sickness which should be. It's like when you have malaria, you feel like you want even that to die. That one, we help the doctor to help you to come up. So if you feel like a woman, you feel it. Yes, we have people whose features look like a woman, the face, the voice. But to say it's a human right, so you must spread it. I think I have a reception to it. You must pardon me, but I won't apologize for saying so, because then pedophiles, those men who, when they see little girls, they want to sleep with them, the little boys, it's also a feeling. Is that a human right? What about armed robbers? When they get up, the finger is saying, go shoot and steal. Let us not spread that. That is, I'm a Christian, but put the Bible aside. But let us not spread that. It is some sickness. Let us accept them in society as people who need help, and let's help them. That's my pitch. So Parliament, when you begin to bring a law that says it's human right, I'll fight you. No human right. Democracy and human rights are intrinsically linked. There cannot be one without the other, and we accept that. So, yeah, these are the human rights, information, press, freedom, and that. But you must know how to handle human rights. It can bring conflict. The right of free speech, and somebody sits already to insult the head of state, insult the Chief Justice, and promises that he will rape the Chief Justice. And he says that is human rights. That is insanity. It's not human rights.
He also argued that African leaders lack the appreciation of democracy. He likened African democracy to a sweet cake enjoyed by a few who contribute nothing to it.
Guinea, Mali, the bad governance. The aspect which I said is missing in the democracy. You have a constitution, you have this. Conte has a constitution. You have all that. You have institutions. Yet there was a coup, because the other side of good governance was not seen. There's a number of coups by year. You want to see the slide, you see that. Jihadism in Africa has come as part of making it impossible for democracy to be accepted. You take the slide, you see all that. Al-Qaeda and ISIS in the world. But then look at how widespread they are in Africa. All this side of Africa, ISIS. Quite recently, ISIS has come to West Africa because of ISWAP. ISIS in West African province. They are all everywhere. ISIS is the Cape province. Now you heard about what they did in Mozambique quite recently. All over. ISIS and Al-Qaeda virtually everywhere in the world. How will democracy thrive in the midst of jihadism? Well, in Africa, actually, we say democracy is majority rule, right? If you see these lions, about 8 of them, pouncing on an innocent bull, then democracy is majority rule. Alternatively, democracy in Africa is the enjoyment of the sweet African cake. You see the cake? I gave you a nice cake, being eaten by a few smart ones who have contributed nothing towards the making of the cake.
Now, displaced traders at the Kumasi Central Market are protesting what they describe as poor plans by the Metropolitan Assembly to resettle them at the Racecourse Market. City authorities over the weekend asked the traders to move to satellite markets to pave the way for the second phase of the Kejitia redevelopment project. The yam and meat sellers are, however, in a standoff with the second-hand clothing sellers as they lay claim to the same trading space. Clad in red and black, the aggrieved traders said they were disappointed in the poor management of their relocation. Love FM's Mona Lisa Frimpong is there and joins us with more. Well, do tell us now, you're at the site. What is the latest development today now that we have these traders who are refusing to cede to one another? What is the latest that you can tell us from the spot?
Okay, so Benjamin, the traders at the Central Market, that's the yam sellers, the tomato sellers, and the fish sellers were relocated to Racecourse. And unfortunately, there were other traders, that's the second-hand clothes sellers, who went to see the regional ministers. They were first asked to settle at Abinchi Market, that's the Fiakobi Market, and they went to see the regional minister, and the Ashanti regional minister asked them to occupy the place that has been allotted to the yam, tomato, and fish sellers at the race course market. And well, there has been this disagreement since Saturday where some yam sellers and tomato and the fish sellers slept at the race course market for 4 days in protest not to allow the second-hand clothes sellers who say they do not like the Albinti market where they were relocated to and went to see the regional minister. Yeah. So there has been this disagreement between them. And a press conference was held this morning. Right now, we are still awaiting. We've seen the KMPRO, but she has refused to speak. And she says, well, she has to see some authorities, and then they'll speak to the two factions, that's the second-hand clothes sellers and the yam, meat, and tomato sellers. So they'll reach out to them. So that's what I can report for now, and that's the latest development.
Is this action hampering the relocation process? Is it hampering that?
For now, I can say that. Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, so for now, what I can say is the traders themselves are still fighting over the land allocation, and that's what I can report for now.
Well, Mona, thank you very much for bringing us the latest as far as that development is concerned. We'll reconnect with you as and when there are further developments. Let's go to the Ashanti region now, which will be the first to benefit from the reclamation of Galamsey-affected lands. Affected areas in the Asante Akim Central Municipality have already been zoned as part of feasibility studies. Now, Deputy Minister for Lands and Natural Resources, George Mrekuduka, explains government is committed to reclaiming the land. Nana Yaujima spoke to the minister on the sidelines of the launch of a community mining concession at Amansie Central District in Ashanti.
Following the war against illegal mining, many mining pits were left open. The amount of investment for the reclamation is yet to be made known, but Deputy Minister for Lands and Natural Resources, George Mrekuduka, says plans are advanced to cover the pits.
Yes, reclamation as part of our alternative livelihood empowerment program, we have in a way dedicated some funds for the reclamation project. We have zoned the areas in the mining regions. We're currently starting from Konongo in the Ashanti region. Consultants on the field, they are doing visibility studies, how we can reclaim all these concessions that were mined illegally and were not able to reclaim. The government is committing to reclaim these concessions.
Government, through the security forces, will ensure contractors do not return to mine on the reclaimed areas. Mr. Mrekuduka is hopeful players in the mining industry will help the government succeed in reclaiming the affected lands.
We also appealing to individuals, more especially the small-scale mining association, to find ways of also supporting this kind of call by, in a way, reclaiming those concessions that are close to their mining enclave. So reclaiming is also not an opportunity to remine. You are to basically reclaim it. And we're also saying that if you are mining now and it is alluvial, you reclaim concurrently. You don't mine and leave it for years before you come and reclaim. The moment you finish mining, if it is, an established or a licensed concession, the moment you finish mining, you need to reclaim.
Meanwhile, the second community mining concession for the Ashanti region has been inaugurated at the Amansie Central District. It is expected to create 7,000 jobs for the youth of the area. For Joy News, Nana Yaujima reports.
Let's talk education now, and the West African Examinations Council has confirmed that 2 papers of the ongoing West African Senior School Certificate Examination have leaked at a news conference. Head of Text Administration, Ohenemante, said aspects of the mathematics and English papers found their way into the public domain before the exam took off.
On their books. Further, conduct of elective mathematics and English language papers. The cheating social media groups were in full swing prior to the conduct of the mathematics elective and English language papers on 9 and 13 September 2021, respectively. The Council's monitoring revealed the circulation of numerous versions of questions, both printed and handwritten, on most of the groups referred to earlier. After the administration of the test, careful scrutiny of the several versions received indicates extracts of parts of the questions for Mathematics Elective 2 and Section A of English Language 2 were circulated on social media platforms. Reports from initial investigations and further information received indicate that the circulation was not extensive. Additionally, the Council would deploy various internationally accepted assessment procedures and interventions within its domain to guarantee the credibility of results. Consequently, those found culpable will be sanctioned. Then rescheduling of Phases 2 and 1 and Business Management 2 and 1 papers. The office has rescheduled the Phases 2 and 1 and Business Management 2 and 1 papers originally scheduled for today, Wednesday, 15 September 2021. A new date for the rescheduled papers will be communicated in due course. However, Auto Mechanics 2 and 1 will be administered today, 15 September 2021, at 4 at 2 p.m. as scheduled.
From education, let's talk poverty alleviation. An NGO Send Ghana is not happy about the delay in the payment of stipends to LEAP beneficiaries. They believe government will release the money to these beneficiaries if it prioritizes making the livelihood of the poor better. At a news conference in Accra, Deputy Country Director Dr. Emmanuel Afria said government should rope in the private sector if it is faced with challenges. There's more in this report by Hannah Odami.
75-year-old Alice Ajoka, who resides in Lower Manya Krobo in the Eastern region, has been waiting for her LEAP money for over 2 months now. This is not the first time. According to her, she does not know who to ask whenever her money delays. She relies on the 64 cedis LEAP allocation, which she gets every 2 months when it's available. Her worry now is how to treat her ailments, which requires lots of money. I am sick and cannot walk. I'm also unable to work, so I depend on government for survival. When my allocation for LEAP does not come due to delays, I ask some of my relatives to support me. I am pleading with government. We are his people, so he should please assist us and ensure the monies come on time. Alice's situation does not make NGO Send Ghana happy. They do not understand why authorities of the LEAP program and other social intervention programs do not make life less difficult for beneficiaries.
To join us to collectively urge our government to indeed release funding for LEAP and other pro-poor interventions. We wish to remind the government again that citizens have the right to social protection. Therefore, government should be committed to protecting such rights.
Acknowledging financial challenges that government may be facing in meeting all its social intervention needs, Dr. Eifa recommends a private partnership with government, which he believes will ensure sustainable financing for social protection delivery. He also wants social intervention programs prioritized in the 2022 budget.
And especially that the 2022 budget preparation is underway. We always will have the opportunity and will be speaking directly to the Ministry of Gender, Children and Social Protection. We'll present certain things to them, of course, so to highlight what we've been talking about, and the same with the Ministry of Finance.
For Joy News, I am Hannah Odame.
And that was Dr. Eifa of Send Ghana. Now to our classroom project. And there are many public schools across the country with serious infrastructural challenges which often reflect on the quality of pupils they produce. But the story is quite different at the St. Mary's RC Basic School at Intom. The children there are determined to beat the odds. Ernest Menu traveled to the central region where the school is and filed this report.
I therefore put before the House that teenage pregnancy rate has become the headache on our country needs to be addressed. With this,
9-year-old Akosua Adoma Owusu is the leader of the Diaso District Child Parliament in the Central Region. She is confident and very eloquent. In her open-air chamber of parliament, she addresses very critical issues that affect her and children within the district.
Let's now hear the views of members of both sides.
Madam Speaker, teenage pregnancy has become rampant in our country. But, Madam Speaker, there are some important issues to look at first. Speaker, just recently, I traveled to Nkonia for some private matter. Speaker, I wish you were with me to experience the gozo on the road. And we know that these are the same roads the cocoa farmers pass on to bring their cocoa pods to the city.
A future leader died during childbirth, or the infant died during childbirth, who will use this road? I ask Honorable Minority Leader.
But when she leaves her chamber and returns to her school, the St. Mary's RC Basic School, that confidence evaporates.
In school or our school, when you come in the morning, you see the goat's feces on the compound in our classroom. It is not good, Gra. We don't have a wall. The KG, our nursery or KG, it is the one we use it to build our house, roofing sheets. We have not plastered it. We have not done it anything.
Indeed, she is the best student here. If Akosua is this confident in this environment, then you can imagine how she would fare in a much better resourced basic school. Now, this is St. Mary's RC Basic School, the school of brilliant 9-year-old Akosua. As you can see, the structure is uncompleted. They have no doors or windows. This roofing sheet is what blocks the classroom, but that is not enough to prevent goats from entering into the classroom. And already the stench here is very, very nauseating. And I cannot imagine how children can stay in this classroom and concentrate on their studies. You could see the wiring all over the place. And Akosua eloquently tells us how this has been affecting the academic work.
Sometimes you can hit. Then when you are opening it to, the stick can hit your leg. The school, our windows, when it rains, the rain come in. And sometimes we have to close and go home. Our bus even gets wet. When it rains, if it is Saturday, then we go for vacations. When we come on Monday, when it rains on Sunday, when we come on Monday, the rain have come in our class and you have to sweep here. Sweep here. And the goats spread their feces in it. Sometimes the children come and write on our board.
The teachers, though dedicated, are equally demoralized by the very place they are expected to impart knowledge and raise the country's future leaders. Isaac Ejekum Asamoah is the head teacher.
Animals are disturbing, are defecating in our classrooms every day. We need to wash and allow it to dry for some period of time before the children can go to class and learn. And because of that, some of the teachers, when they come here...
It is owing to all of this that we at the Multimedia Group have put together the Classroom Project, which aims at fixing some of these infrastructural challenges in some schools in 2 communities, just as shown in that story. To produce more Akosuas and perhaps better versions of her, your support in any form can bring about that positive change forever. You can send your Momo transactions, mobile money, to 0593 038 832. The name on it is Joy FM. Or to access bank account number 009010105419 1. Alternatively, you can reach out to our front desk for further inquiries. The number to call is 0302 216 540. The Classroom Project, promoting social justice through philanthropy. There's more coming your way on Joy News Today. Business is up next after the break.
Hi, good afternoon. Welcome to Business. My name is Darryl Kwao. Trade volumes between Ghana and South Africa have witnessed significant growth over the past 18 months despite the COVID-19 pandemic. According to President of the Ghana South Africa Business Chamber, Grant Weber, speaking at a trade and investment seminar that sought to establish business relationships and contacts between Ghanaian and South African agribusiness owners, he said he was highly optimistic the partnership will be successful. There's more in this report.
This trading partner in West Africa after Nigeria. It is in this light that the trade and investment company Westgrow, in partnership with the Ghana South African Chamber of Commerce, organized a trade mission focused on bringing together agribusiness owners from both countries. The seminar saw the networking and exchange of contacts between these businesses. However, President of the Ghana South African Chamber of Commerce, Grant Weber, believes government support could go a long way to increase gains from Ghana's collaboration with South Africa.
Sustainability is always the challenge. I think as long as government has policies which are enabling and then move out of the way and enable private equity and private capital to perform, the markets always determine who wins at the end of the day. But I do think in ECOWAS, Ghana has made great strides. I think Ghana is the shining light in the ECOWAS region, and there's no reason why it shouldn't continue to be the gateway into West Africa.
Joy Business spoke to some businesses about their expectations from the partnership.
It's been very nice, I should say, very exciting. You know, I think the South African Embassy and the government has made a deliberate effort to build relationship with Ghana. I don't know about other countries, but we see them all the time bringing in people here and inviting some of us there. So they are very friendly and the people are ready to work with us. They are looking for partnerships. They are looking for that kind of collaboration, I should say. They are looking for brothers and sisters of Africa. So it's been a nice experience.
So far, it's very good. People of Ghana are very welcoming. They are very interested in our products, and we've got a good relationship with them so far, and we're looking forward to working with them.
It's been absolutely great. It's not my first time. So we'll be traveling with Mr. David to Kumasi. And hopefully there I'll be meeting a lot of different art association and also checking out the textile printing hubs and the weavers and any craft that can be applied on textiles as well. My expectations is for us to set a new type of breed when it comes to the textile market.
In other news, this afternoon, let's turn to the World Bank, which has settled on Ghana as a model country to assess the impact of the effectiveness of fresh grants to developing countries. According to senior economist Aurelian Cruz, this is part of an analysis to measure the impact of its support to developing countries in fighting the COVID-19 pandemic. He spoke at the Midday Presidential Business Summit.
The government of Ghana must be doing something right because the World Bank has chosen Ghana as a yardstick to evaluate the efficacy of support to developing countries. Senior economist at the World Bank, Aurelian Cruz, revealed this at the Midday Presidential Business Summit.
That we are embarking on a new analytical task for which Ghana has been selected as a pilot bank-wide, namely a country climate development report. This is important because the crisis, for all the hardship it has brought, has also presented us with an opportunity to build back better. And indeed, we believe that COVID-19 recovery measures can play a role in making the recovery more resilient and sustainable, and in allowing Ghana to leapfrog to the frontier in terms of its development path. And again, this effort will have to be facilitated by the state, but driven to a large extent by the private sector.
Meanwhile, President Akufo-Addo has reiterated government's commitment to intensify dialogues with the private sector to increase public-private partnerships. Speaking at the same event, he assured that the outcome of the deliberations will be prioritized to provide actionable solutions to support the development of the country.
The strong rebound in growth, low inflation rates, the stable currency, the strong reserve position, and FDI flows are clear indications of our collective desire to restore the Ghanaian economy onto a path of sustained stability and growth. We will continue to strengthen and deepen our engagement with the private sector towards realizing this goal. Ladies and gentlemen, the thematic areas and sectors selected for deliberations during this two-day presidential business summit have been carefully chosen to ensure that the outcome would be an actionable business compact with clear commitments from both government and private sector.
Vice President of the Ghana National Chamber of Commerce and Industry, Victoria Haja, has charged government to reassess strategies and projects critical to the revival of the economy.
And there's more coming up on the marketplace at the top of the hour. Sports is up next.
Good afternoon, welcome to Showbiz here on Joy News. The Minister for Tourism, Dr. Mohamed Awal, has charged newly elected board members for the sector to do everything possible to work towards making tourism, arts and culture the #1 contributor to Ghana's GDP. The 11-member board consists of Ghana's Tourism Authority CEO Akwesi Agyemang, Guba Awards CEO Dental Martin and others. Here is Tourism Minister.
Our vision is to make, and within the next 3 years, tourism, arts and culture should be #1 contributor to Ghana's GDP. We don't want to negotiate that. It means that we must have an excess of $5 billion every year from tourism receipts from 2022. It's very clear. I have signed that contract to the president, and the board must help me achieve that. To do that, we need to look at various scenarios. Domestic tourism should be very, very key. Please, board, help build a culture of travel within Ghana. We don't have a culture of traveling. Before the pandemic, just about 600,000 people were traveling within a year in Ghana. We think that progressively we can have 1 million people traveling every year. Work as a team. We can achieve that. We need to create 1 million jobs from tourism over the next 3 years again, along the tourism value chain, to make Ghana the most preferred tourism destination in West Africa. We are now #3, next to Senegal and Gambia. Ghana cannot afford to be next to Senegal and Gambia in terms of tourism. We are the most peaceful nation in West Africa.
Away from that, the British High Commissioner to Ghana, Harriet Thompson, has named Rapper Sarkodie as her favorite musician. In her first interview after being named the High Commissioner, she tells Israel Lai on the AM show about her love for Ghanaian music and which artists she is currently listening to.
We've talked about food, we haven't talked about music. Have you sampled some of the songs that we have in Ghana?
I'm really enjoying Ghanaian music,
okay.
Yeah. My kids and my husband and I can be caught dancing around the kitchen as we're getting food ready. It's impossible to keep your feet still, yeah.
Okay, and you're able to, move quite well to the beat?
No. This is why it's in my kitchen and not in public.
But any popular songs that you've picked up so far?
So one of my highlights, I don't know if you've seen on Twitter, we had a wellbeing day for our excellent High Commission team yesterday, and the comms team put together a super video with music by Sarkodie. So that's a current favourite at the moment.
On that note, we end Showbiz here on Joy News today. My name is Becky.
Well, this is how we draw the curtains on Joy News today. We'll leave you with myjoyonline.com, where you can find some of those entertainment and sporting stories, among others, to check out from there. One of those Guinea coup deposed Alpha Condé still in a state of shock. That's according to our Foreign Affairs Minister, Shirley Ayoko Aboche. Of course, that meeting of 7 members or heads of ECOWAS tomorrow. Check out more stories on myjoyonline.com. My name is Benjamin Akap.